So with the slides are available here, so bit.ly/GAFE Toronto, it's case sensitive, and you'll be able to access the slides from there, and you can see some of the steps, and then I'm going to show you also some of the stuff that I put on YouTube myself and kind of where we're going with this. So just a little bit about myself. I'm a science teacher in the TDSB. I've been teaching for 7 years, and this 2 years I'm going to be on leave. I'm at the Ministry of Education, but this is not a Ministry of Education presentation. This is Teacher Brandon talking to you, so I cannot endorse anything from there. So yeah, you can see the stuff there. I highly recommend. I did something over the summer, which I taught summer school, but then to also further my own learning, I took the Google Certified Educator course, Level 1 and Level 2. And they just changed it. It came out in the spring where they were changing how they were going to do the exams. And these are some of like the two, if you really like what's going on here, and this is your kind of first intro to Google, the Level 1 is amazing for getting going with Google. They have sessions on pretty much every Google tool, and then you can go through those tools, and they have like little quizzes. But it's not just about like how to use the tool. It's always how to use the tool in your classroom, or with your student, with your teachers if you're an administrator. It has a whole bunch of levels, and then it's more about the like what you do with the tool, and I think that's always #1 at any of these conferences. It's not about the technology, although we like to be flashy, we like to be like, this is the tech, here's a smart board, whatever, it's what you're doing with them. So I know it's like kind of an off factor. So the new Google courses, they really reflect that, where you can go through and they have like tons of different trainings. I think it's like $15, and then you get this little thing that you can put on all your presentations to show your Level 1. And then when you're really cool, you get Level 2. And then there's also other levels. You can be a trainer, and then I think an innovative educator. And those are the new levels. So these you can just do at your self-pace. It took me maybe 3 weeks just to go through the content, not straight, but a couple hours each day. And a really, really good training opportunity. So if you just search up Google Certified Educator, you'll see their new program, and it's free to do the course, and you only have to pay if you want to do the exam. And that's been some of like the best, my own PD on my own. And it started off for me, I'm not going to say I'm an amazing person with Google, but I'm pretty proficient with it. So I'm like, okay, I got that. And then as it started getting deeper, there's like really neat learning opportunities. So there's stuff for every level that's there. So today, what we're going over, this is put the hashtag beginner in the session, because we're going to go through kind of shifting from a consumer to a curator to a creator, and we're going to kind of go through these 3 levels, what you can do with your students. So just from finding videos, embedding them, to making playlists, embedding those playlists, to being the creator of filming, uploading, editing, sharing, and then finally the Hangout on Air, which is a live broadcast. So, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've done. And so feel free to take your device out and ask questions, and we'll go through this kind of together. So what I've been really like reading a lot of stuff about where things are going with technology, and I think it's with anything like the Web 2.0 stuff, and that's kind of old and going through. And I really want my students to be at the creator level. So not just consuming everything, not just like rearranging it and remixing it, which is still cool, but I want them to be putting knowledge out there. So if we're doing, like I teach grade 9 to 12 chemistry and science and biology. So if we're doing something really neat, I want them to share with the world, inspire someone, put on their Facebook, teach a scientific concept about refraction or something through a YouTube video, and just like make the world scientifically literate. So they're kind of on a mission to start doing that. So they really enjoy doing that stuff. So we're just going to look at some of the stuff about finding videos. And there's a lot of sometimes, how many people are elementary teachers? And how many secondary? Is anyone other? Intermediate. Intermediate. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Intermediate. Yeah. Kindergarten. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Even higher ed. Oh, okay. So I know searching YouTube videos can be a little dangerous sometimes, especially when that thing pops up. It's like, check out these 6 other videos. And I've been there. I'm like, let's check this out. And they're like, yeah, let's watch that one. And it's like completely inappropriate. So I'll show you a way to get around that in a second. But when you're searching videos, when you do click on these, if you click on the little magnifying glass there, you'll end up having a list of filters that comes up. And it's really, really good because when I'm looking for a video and say I want to show how planes fly, and I'm teaching the flight unit in elementary science, and I want to find something that maybe is like, because you sometimes search it and there can be like an hour-long documentary on flight. There could be stuff that's a 2-second video, it could be anything. So you can search, and you can actually search by the duration of the video. So if I just want a quick introduction to warm my students up, I can search by duration. I can search if I'm really one of those people who has like a really super cool video system and I want to have like 4K or like 1080p, like whatever. You can search by quality of video. You can search by views, channels, upload. At the very bottom, which is also a very key feature, is the restricted mode. So you can search based on, and that will filter your videos. But the problem is this restricted mode And some school boards put that on automatically, and you can't turn it off. So you have to log into your personal Gmail and then turn it off while you're searching. It actually blocks a lot of really good videos that aren't inappropriate at all. So I found the filter at the bottom. Sometimes you may get to school and you realize that you can't find the video you're looking for, and that is because of that restricted mode thing is on. So I've tried to find some mitosis, and it was just a mitosis video. It wasn't like anything different about it, but that was there, and I had to turn it off just to access that video. So when we're just searching for videos, there are some different tools and ways to search different videos. So that's just kind of my example. The other part is, which is really great, is you can find a playlist. So I taught grade 11 biology in summer school, and I was looking for, it's self-paced, it was online through D2L, and some of the students were saying, do you have any extra resources? And I found a whole playlist, so you can find an actual playlist where someone has curated. And if you're in high school, the Crash Course series, or not in high school, but teach high school, the Crash Course series is a really great series where they have, it's like Khan Academy style, but they're different videos about whatever subject it is. So I loaded the biology playlist for them. I said there's some things here, you could check it on your own. So what's really neat is that you can actually search for different playlists of things and other teachers have made, other people have made. And so we'll talk about that in a second, that we'll make our own, because we don't want to just be the consumers, we want to curate too. So we'll show kind of how that plays out. So you can make your own playlists, and I find that's actually a little better. If I find a bunch of collection of videos, I can put a playlist up, and it will go through the 3 or 4 videos that I want them to see, and without having all those other videos that are just like, oh, search this and get that. So playlists are a really good way, but we can search for other people's and see what they've done, but then I'm going to show you in a second how to make our own. So this is just searching. I'm not going to go through like the technical part on searching, but what's neat is that when you have the playlist, it will list all the videos that are in that playlist on the side, and it will just keep playing them. So if you want to say, I'm not condoning this and you shouldn't do this, but say you want to play a couple of videos and go photocopy something and run to the washroom. You're not supposed to leave. But you can put a playlist, and when it'll just keep playing the next video. Or if you like to sit at the back and you can't access your computer. I've never done that. Sermon for.
That's nice, actually.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's easier to see.
Better? Okay. All right. Great. So in here, so you can have a playlist, and they will auto-play based on that. So you can put a playlist together, and then you can have that there. So once you have the playlist going, you can just search it, find it. You can copy the links to them. You can share them. And then you can also subscribe if you really like those people, and they will actually end up coming into your news feed. So whenever something new comes out from my Crash Course, I'm going to see Crash Course stuff in my news feed. So searching playlists is always a great tool. So this is cool when you want to find other people's content. But as a teacher, sometimes you don't want to use what other people do. I know sometimes people can find lesson plans online, and they see a lesson plan, and they can just photocopy and use it the next day. I always have to edit something. I always have to add something into it. And so I find sometimes other people's playlists aren't as great for that. So I want to kind of make my own. So one way that is a really great way to take videos and embed them into your slides. So if you're using Google Slides and you really don't want to have all those extra ads on the outside, any of the pop-ups or the clicking, the things on the side like suggested videos or showing here's the next 6 videos you should watch, and there's always someone in a bikini or something like that, you can embed it into a Google slide, and when you play it there, that doesn't happen. You're going to get just the video. Sometimes an ad pops up, but you will not have all that extra stuff on the outside. So in an actual slide, and I'll show you in a second, you can embed the video, and then you can then put that right into your slide without having all that extra stuff around YouTube. So it really makes them more interesting. And the other thing that's really big is the comment section. Kids, and I think Batista typed this in about keyboard warriors, about people who are behind a screen, they'll say anything they want and they'll type whatever. YouTube is the worst for that. It brings out the worst in humanity sometimes of what people comment on other people's videos. So usually on our class videos, I turn it off because some people just find videos and they put the weirdest comments. So when you embed it, you also lose the comment feature because a lot of the time the students will go through the comments and they think that's funnier than the video sometimes. Yeah. Which sometimes they are, which I admit, but other times they're just really inappropriate. And it's not good to have. So I like to embed the video. So when you're in a video, and if you found a video now, you can just search a video up that you found. There's a little share button that is 3 little circles connected with lines, and then there's an embed button. So you can use this code and you can embed it. And if you're in Google Slides, you can actually just insert a video right from there. So I can just show you how to do that. So if I was in here and I wanted to insert something from YouTube, in this section here, I can just go to Insert and Video. So in my slide, and then it's going to say where do you want to get it from. So I can search within. Let's really. Oh, there we go. It took a second. I can search here and just search for the video within YouTube. Or if I have the actual YouTube URL, I can put the URL of the YouTube video here, not the embed code, but the video that I found. And so I just have like a video I brought up here. Here's me burning magnesium like a boss. It's in slow-mo. So like sometimes we made it. We're using like a slow-mo app. I don't know if it'll work, but you'll see. So I have this video, and I want to share it, and I want to put that in there. So I have all this stuff here. This is like up next, and here's whatever else, and maybe someone commented on it or whatever. No one commented on my video, unfortunately. But you can have like whatever you want on there. So if I want to put that in my slide without all that stuff, I can just, and I'll pause that there. I can just take this video here, so I can just copy the link, and I can go into the Google slide. I can insert the video there, and I click Select, and then it will put it in my slide. So now when I'm ready to present with my students, I just would go to like present mode here. So obviously I would do a little better. And I would just push play, and then the video would play right in here. So there's no comments, there's no extra stuff going on. It's just the video that you want to see. So I like it even if I'm just showing just one video in the class. Sometimes I'll just put this on and just put that instead of going straight to YouTube. That way I know the slide's there, it's ready to go, I share it with my student, the video plays within it, and we're good to go. And you can put multiple videos, you can do a whole bunch of things, and I'm just going to delete it because people are going to think it's strange having that video just randomly in the slide. But you can put videos in that way. So I really like to share videos that way. It's just one way of sharing the videos.
Brandon?
Yeah?
If you do that, do you still get the video suggestions at the end?
It's supposed to not, and we can try it on this one. So sometimes, so here's an example of the one that I showed. They will put ads, so ads do happen. So that's just the factor of life that we live in with YouTube. But apparently you can do a YouTube paid service soon. It's coming. I think it's supposed to be like $9.99 a month, and it's supposed to be ad-free. But let's just double check. Before, you never had that, so this is the video. We'll just see if it does the... It didn't before, so I don't want to lie to you and tell you it doesn't, and then you go home and get in trouble. So we'll just let the last little bit play while we're going on. So we'll let that happen. So the video is playing. This is really a neat series, so if you ever check it out. So usually it just ends, but we'll see for that one. Yeah, so it goes back to the beginning. So it's still, sometimes they change things. So it will go back to the beginning of the video. It doesn't show those last 6. So what I just showed you live, which was on here, so you can go back to this later in case you forget. You can go insert video and then put the URL in, and then you post it right into the slide. So it makes life a little easier. It's a little cleaner. And especially if you're doing like a PLC thing or you're talking in front of other teachers, because some of the kids were more forgiving of your mistakes sometimes when you present in front of other teachers, I found. So go easy on me. But sometimes I've done things at the front of this, like I guess the staff, and then they're like, oh, you did this, or I'm like, oh, okay. So we're done being consumers. We want to be a curator. So taking that information, finding things, and putting it together as kind of our own resource is curation. So if you think of an art gallery. So anytime, so I just typed in sloths. So if you want to go on YouTube and type in anything, whatever your search term is, I think sloths are kind of neat animal. So I put that in. But you can type in anything, your subject area, whatever you'd like to do. When you have the list of videos and you want to quickly do this, so as you see here, I have a whole bunch of little videos that when I typed in sloth, there's the 3 little dots beside each video. Once you click that, you're able to then add to, and you can quickly add it to a playlist. So if I don't have a sloth playlist already, which I'm sure you all have a sloth playlist. Yeah, that's okay. I know that's going to happen today. That's okay. I forgive you. So you can add it to a playlist, and I have a bunch of playlists here. So I have like a chemistry playlist, a class project. I have an internet safety one. And then it'll show you if it's a locked playlist where people cannot see it with a lock on it. And if it's a little globe, that means it's public. So you can add it to a playlist, or at the bottom it'll say create, and then I typed in sloth. I'm going to make it public because they're just sloth videos. They're not student like my students' videos that I don't want public. But if it's a sloth video, I make it public, and I create. And then I'm going to have a whole bunch of playlists I'll start having a sloth playlist. So what can end up happening is once you are, another way to do it, if you found another sloth video, there's tons of them on the internet. I spent last week looking them up. I got distracted. It took me double the time to do this presentation because I was distracted. But if you're in videos and you see like something you like and you're watching it, there's a little plus sign, and always on the YouTube videos. and you can click the plus sign, and that will allow you to add it to a playlist. So if you're in the quick search view, or you're in this search view, you just click the plus sign, and then there's my sloth playlist I already created because it's already there, and I just click it, and then it adds it to the sloth playlist. Yeah.
I just did that. YouTube, sloth.
Yep.
And I get all these, like,
you get different sloth videos?
nude women. And
nude women? What?
There was one that was a woman about, you know, and then this one, the very first one that comes up, GMC Acadia, make us smell a minute like.
Oh, I think these are ads. So you got a couple ads.
So
that
how do
are
I
getting.
get
Yeah, you can click. You can click X. Yeah. So that's a good way
if
of.
the kids do that, they're going to get the same one that I.
So yours probably is not restricted right now, so maybe that's possibly why.
YouTube.ca.
Yeah.
It should be YouTube.com.
.ca should work too. I think it's just if it's restricted or not.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When I do the three little dots and they add to,
Yeah.
all I have is the box and watch later. I don't have all those other.
Oh,
things.
yeah. So these are ones I've already created previously.
Oh.
So they will. Yeah. So if you've never done it before, your box will be empty. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. Yeah, that's a great point to bring up for you. So. Yeah, if you don't have any playlists, your box will be empty, and then you won't see anything there. So you can just find a video and then add more. Yeah. So it's good you can add a bunch of videos. I don't know if there's an upper limit. We've done like over 100 videos, and it still keeps adding them. So I don't know if there's a limit to how many you can add, but you can just keep putting a bunch in. So I did a thing on I taught civics and careers. And I did a thing on safety in the workplace, so I made like a playlist for that. And there's different ones you can make if you're even just studying. You want to have if you want to have good instrumental music that you can use in your classroom. So I like having some music sometimes on. So I'll have like an instrumental playlist, and the kids can sometimes come up and add a song to the instrumental playlist. I like playing music with lyrics, but sometimes that just gets tricky. Yeah. So there's different ones there. There's a bit of a delay in the coming. Maybe not. My screen shows a different side. Let's see. Let's go re-click this thing maybe. Okay. Sorry, this is this new fancy technology I've never seen before. Let's try that again. Okay. Sorry, it's just doing something connecting to base. I don't know. So if you find a video, you can make a playlist. And then to get back to your playlist, when you click on the top right corner, it has your little icon. Or when you're on the home page, you'll see a section on the side that says playlist. And then from there, which is really cool, which I wanted to show you next, which I'll show you as soon as this does this booting up thing, you can share that playlist. So what's really neat is that once you've made a playlist, you can actually start sharing that out to other people. You can put it to your Facebook, you can put it to your whatever else, and then you can put that to your class website. You can actually embed a playlist into the Google Slides too, and that will play through that way. So I'm just going to get this ready.
So I have a Google site.
Mm-hmm.
And I put all the YouTube videos that I want them to see on there, like so they can just click on it. So rather than doing that, I can just share this onto my site.
Yeah, you can share a playlist.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can also embed a playlist too, and then it will do that thing where it'll show all the videos on the right-hand side, and then it will, go through. Sorry, this thing still says connecting with base unit. So on there, once you have playlists, you can post them up. I keep them for different units, so I may have like a thermochemistry. If you're a chemistry person, I have a thermochemistry playlist where I can have that on there as something that I use often. Or you can, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Cannot connect to base unit. Does anyone use these base unit things often? No? I don't know. It was working really well, and then it just froze.
Chrome? That's not a...
No, it's like, I think it's something to connect.
You step back, it's on a motion
Yeah.
sensor.
Okay. Sorry, we'll just try this again. Hopefully it will come back on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so let's start with
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. Oh, that's okay.
Still a beginner.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll try one more time with this thing. Hopefully it will. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's back. Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Start from the beginning.
Yeah. We'll read it. Okay. Now we have a backup. Okay. All right. So my apologies. The thing had a hard time. So in here, so on the left, once you're in your kind of dashboard on the left, you'll see the playlist button. And that's where it'll list all your playlists. You can access them there. Once you click it, it'll also show a playlist at the top. And then there's my sloth one. I have 2 videos. And then you can do different things. You can go play all. You can share it. And then you can change settings. So you can make them private or whatever you want to do with them. And then sharing them, they always have these built-in kind of things. So if you want to share it on LinkedIn or Tumblr, Google+, everything's already there to share as well. So you could also post this to your Google Classroom or whatever your kind of way of doing that is. And there's also an embed code. So if you use any type of website like Wix, Google Sites, Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia, Wikispaces, any of those like wiki sites, you can also just embed the code and embed the playlist as there. So you can get the kids to go through a whole playlist that way. So that's kind of one way that I like kind of curating content. So the last part, which I find is the more interesting part, is actually being a creator of the content. So when students, like, if we're doing a demo, I always ask them, like, if I'm going to blow something up, like, if it goes wrong, promise you're not going to put it on YouTube, but if it goes right, go ahead, whatever. So I don't mind if the kids are using them. I've worked in, like, a lot of the inner city schools as well, and I think what they were saying earlier in some of the other sessions was that a lot of the students, even though maybe they don't have a lot of things, they do often have a cell phone. So in the last 2 years, every student in my class has had a cell phone. And they've had, like, from a different manufacturer or whatever, but they've had a pay-as-you-go phone, but it's always had a camera and always an ability to upload. And I had one, we don't have a budget as much for tech stuff, so I bought a broken iPad on Kijiji for something off this firefighter who broke it, and so it has 2 cracks in the corner, but we have 1 class iPad. So I don't have anything, what we're doing is not anything super, super hard to do. There's 1 cracked iPad, and we did all this stuff that I'm about to show you with it. So you can always, yeah, so you can do that. So when you're in the creator part, so when you're in YouTube, there's an upload feature in the corner, and it will ask you how you want to upload the file. It's actually a lot faster if you do it straight from a device. So if you have iPad or a phone or anything like that, it's easier to log into that because it's just 1 click to upload instead of transferring to the computer and uploading it. It does the same quality, the same everything. And then you can go back in here later and you can do editing and things, which I'll show you in a second. So once you do click into here, you can drag a video, you can upload it, and what's really important, it asks you right away, do you want it public? And the default setting is usually public. So once you put it on, you just got to make sure that you hit that and put either unlisted or private, depending on how you want to do that, and then you can do that. You can also create straight from, so a lot of people have Chromebooks. Sometimes they're not sure like what they can do with it, and sometimes there's not a program like how do I record a video and edit it. What's really great about YouTube, you can record straight from the webcam of a Chromebook. So if you have the students take the Chromebooks outside or whatever they want to do with them, you can record straight from there, and it will upload right into there. You can do a photo slideshow, and you can also get into the editor from there as well. So there's multiple ways to upload things. Once you do upload something, so if you have something on your device, you want to click upload now. I just did like a talk at EdSurge a couple weeks ago, and so I used that as my example of it. When you have the uploader kind of creator studio, it looks a little complicated, but students will figure it out. Like usual, they always figure it out. And there's always really great things you can do and change. So one of the big things that I recommend is, again, whatever your policy in your classroom or your school is, public versus unlisted versus closed, you can choose that. You can add them straight to a playlist. So if there's a playlist for that assignment or that group of things, you can add the playlist that way. And what's really fun is adding tags. So tagging something, it just allows other people to search that video and find it easier. You can add things like subtitles. So if you want to be like AOAD compliant. You can have that. There's different annotations. You can add music on top of it. So there's tons of things you can do right in here. You don't need to have like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. You can do a lot of editing straight in this section now. And it'll also tell you things about the stats, who watched it, how long it is, that type of thing. And you can choose the thumbnail. So once you just put the video on, those are just some things you can upload. So I'm just going to show you some examples of my student work. And the very first video I uploaded was I was in Teachers College in 2008. And we had to do a micro-teaching lesson. I had a chin strap and more hair and skinnier then. Good old days. So 7 years of teaching does to you. So I know. How many more years I have to go? But I'm just kidding. But we had to upload something to YouTube. We had to do a micro-teaching lesson. And we had to then critique our lesson and rewatch it again. And I think it was 3 times. And then share it to someone else to watch to critique it before we even got out the door to teach in front of real students. So my first YouTube video, this was uploaded, I think it said the date on the other slide, was in 2008. And I'm an awesome teacher, and I'm the best teacher ever. I paid those 2 people to put those comments there. Those are my other accounts. But I uploaded that in as an example. So that was kind of my first entry to YouTube. I'm like, let me just put it on there because we had to share it anyways. And it was actually, people were renting, and I don't know, still, this is only 2008, not very long ago. At OISE, they were renting a machine, the VCR, and they were actually watching it on tape. And I'm like, this is only 2008 ago. I was really surprised. But I'm like, no, we're going to do it digital. We're going to put it on there. And it like blew people's minds that we could share on YouTube in 2008. And I was really shocked. I got of the level of the student teachers, like what I was, that they didn't know you could put something on YouTube. So that was just like my first example. We also did a Skype session with Kenya, a school in Kenya. So we did a live session through Skype. And then we've also uploaded video messages to each other. So this is just like an example. This is a school. There's me again. I guess the sound.
And in Kenya now it's 4 p.m. and we are having gift time in our school. And I'm hearing that in your school it's now 9 a.m. So what activity are you doing after?
So he was just asking like what activities do you do at 9 a.m. because of the time difference. So we did live sessions. So this was recorded and we put it onto YouTube for other people to look at. And we also sent video message back and forth because the time difference I think was like 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. their time. And it was very hard to connect. So we did video messages back and forth. So you could actually take a video message, upload something, send it to another classroom around the world and get a message back. So we did 2 live sessions and we did a bunch of video messages and we only talked about environmental sustainability. But the first 2 were like, do you listen to Drake and like, is it cold? And it was really interesting because something like this, I know this is not part of my session, but if you go to Skype Education, you can sign up and pair with a class. But it was funny because the misunderstandings that our students had, they first said, do they have huts? Are they having Wi-Fi in a hut? Are they going to have clothes on? And I was like, should I say something now? Or I'm like, do you want to wait and see? So we waited, and my students were just like, what? Because they're wearing suits and everything. And then they were like, excuse me, where's all the white students? And because I teach in Scarborough, and so it was just like a shock that there was like more than just white people in Canada, and that was their perception. So it broke down the stereotypes, and that was more powerful than me saying like you shouldn't say people in Africa live in huts. I'm like, I didn't let it go, but I said, let's learn from this. And so we talked about it, and then they talked about their recycling program, the rangers they have in parks. And he's like, when you walk home, do you ever have to watch out for lions? And we're like, oh, no, just squirrels. And they're like, squirrel, what is that? And we had a picture of a squirrel. So it was just like, it was cool because they thought a squirrel was like a dangerous animal at first. And then, so it was just a really good experience. So we're creating this content to send out that's breaking down barriers. Because if you Googled Africa or Kenya or what you see on TV, you're consuming a lot of the time nonsense or what someone else's perception is or what they want that perception to be. So you can get real live, real people, which is cool. So that's always like a good example. Another thing we did is with an elementary school, we mentored a group of elementary school and we used videos. So I'll just show you this one just briefly.
Hey guys, we have a challenge for you. We're your grade 11 class on student break. Have you ever made a paper plane in your spare time? Well, now you're going to be judged on it. Your challenge is to build some planes. That's your fly.
Don't play the whole thing. So that group was doing the flight unit, and in our science class, we were looking at ways to mentor other people in our community. So we were just looking at that as an example. So they put out a challenge, and so the grade, I think at first grade 4 or grade 5, anyone? Flight 6? 6. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, good. I'm glad someone's on the ball. So we had grade 6. And so we mentored them, and it was really great because then they sent videos back with the class iPad in the gymnasium of them trying to hit a target in the middle of the gym, and talked about all the factors of the curriculum. They did the curriculum all through this one video of like what factors affect flight, all the terminology, and they made like a tutorial on how to get the best flying plane with all the terminology in the curriculum, with a science teacher who's not scientist. They didn't take science. They were very uncomfortable with science. And that's kind of, I think, why we were paired with that teacher, to help them that science is fun. And so they did this awesome thing, and now every time he wants to do it now. And this is something that they do. They do a challenge, and then we did with another class with bridges. And I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm guessing which level that is again, structures and mechanisms like the bridge.
Oh, no.
Five? Grade 5. So we did that with another grade 5 class after, and the same thing. They did a challenge, and they posted YouTube videos back to us. So then it enabled them, it built capacity in my students to make these videos. I didn't do it, they did it. And then ended up happening, then the grade 4s and the grade 6s, they started making videos and sending them back. So it's really good that we built that capacity within them as well.
So you would make a video and then you'd send the video to them, or you could
Yep.
video message straight from your YouTube?
We would just upload the video and send them the private link.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so with the elementary students, they had a closed link, and they only shared it with my teacher Gmail account. So then I had to log in, and I was the only one to see that video. So those ones were private. A couple of the other things, my dad's an electroplater, and so my dad one day, I was like, Dad, we were talking about electroplating. And so he's like, I'll give you a FaceTime tour of my electroplating facility. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he like texts me, he's like, if I drop my phone, you're dead, son. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Because I think it'd be gone in the solution and some of the acid baths. So he went and he like gave a full like demo to my class live through FaceTime through his phone. So this is not YouTube, but I want to show you an example. And then what I did is I recorded it from my computer, and I just put it back on to show other students. So he showed, we were talking about electroplating, and I'm like, hey, Dad, what are you doing now? He's like, working. And then I just like, can you just do like a quick, can you take a picture? He's like, oh, how does it do FaceTime? And I was like, okay, great. So then he did a whole thing, and he actually like played something live for the students in 5 minutes. So, and we just recorded it, and then the kids were like, that's what your factory looks like, and it's really like, you know, I guess it gives them an understanding of what sometimes factories and the conditions is like. Then they asked my dad had like a mask and all these things that they show in the textbook, and I was like, not exactly, because it's something that's not doing in the industry. But so I was showing them that, and we put it on there, and it was a good way to learn. So we engaged with him, and you can see our class in the bottom right corner. I know that, sorry, the ad is there, but we're engaged. The kids are asking questions of him as well, stuff like that too. So other really neat ideas I just want to show you. I got surplus, and so I didn't get to say bye to my students. I was gone. They sent me to IB training because I was going to IB school, and I wasn't allowed to say bye. I couldn't see them at the exam, and it was like gone forever. And I was like upset because I built such a good relationship. I made a YouTube video, and I was like, tweeted to one of the kids, I'm like, here's a goodbye video to you. So I made it private. I'm like, because I said, like, thank you for the great year. I felt like, and the kids were so mad. They were like, we're protesting the government and all this surplus, and I was like, so in a way that I created a video for them. So that was just an idea. That one's private, so you can't watch it. You might cry too. Like, and just some other things that are good. Oh, this thing's done it again. You guys didn't see the picture of me on the screen, did you?
No.
Oh, okay. It's doing its thing. Let's see if it. Oh, not again. Hopefully it will reboot quickly again. So basically from there. Hopefully this goes again. But we did digital storytelling, so something that's really neat. This thing. Sometimes. I'm just going to go with the try this way. Hopefully it will not mess up everything. Maybe it will. Got this. No. This thing. Sometimes the good technology isn't so good all the time. So we'll try that again. So another thing, if you're worried about students' faces, and once this loads up, a really great thing is a digital storytelling assignment. And you can do it with iMovie or like a Windows Movie Maker. So I had the students take pictures, draw on whiteboards, and then they took pictures of it, added it in, and you can actually do it right in YouTube now. When I did it, there wasn't that feature. But in YouTube, you can do a video slideshow. And you can add in pictures and just have the students draw pictures and put that up. So if you're worried about, I don't want to put my students on the internet, or if you have a parent that's very against this, you can always do that as an example of sharing that. So I'll just try
that in YouTube now.
Yeah, so we're in the bottom right corner when that upload thing, it says open video editor, and there's also slideshow. You can make a slideshow right in YouTube now. Yeah, so it's really neat. You can do different things. So we'll just see if this reconnects again. So that's an example of one thing. So we just took pictures of that, and we set it up, and they were really, I think it's ready to share, it says. See if it's lying. Oh, yeah, it's ready to share. Okay, so I'll show you how to get to there. But we just did, so I did this example. I was working on a group at OISE. They were working on like hip hop and education, and so they were looking at ways to talk about social justice through hip hop, and it was really neat. And so they asked me, is there a way you could involve tech into this? I said, sure, you could do digital storytelling. So these are student teachers that did this. So they just took pictures and they did a mural of like what pieces to them, and then being free, and then they just uploaded a sound clip to it, so you can do an MP3 or whatever. And then it's just like something that you could do as an example where you can have your students upside down. But well, it's okay. It's good, right? The parents will be like, oh. And so you can do stuff like this in it as well, where you don't have to put their faces. It doesn't have to be them talking, their voices even. It's just kind of some of the stuff that they did for like Unity and things like that. So those are ways of integrating that. And so what ends up happening, if you're wondering just the logistics of this, what I did is before we had a school like YouTube account, I had like a mrzoris@gmail.com, and I would just log into the iPad with that. So I would have those, and the students build things here. So we have videos of like, again, if you don't want to show the student's face, you could have a organic chemistry review. I assigned everyone a concept, and they made these themselves. They made the sound effects and everything. So, and they were showing how to actually do different reactions. So this is adding a chlorine or something to it. So there's, I think it was ethane in there, and then they're adding, say, a chlorine molecule to it. And that's it, substitution reaction. So they're making these like videos, and they started like reviewing chemistry by making YouTube videos, being the producer of this, and it really helped them learn, because then they came and they said, wow, I got that now. And a couple other videos. There's one I just want to show you of we entered a contest, and it was like it's from PBS. It's a little slow. And it was doing a rap based on science, because I like hip hop. And so the kids, again, they didn't want to be in it, so they made a YouTube video on mitosis, and then they used whiteboards, and then they produced the video. So I'll just show you a small clip.
There are many kinds of cells. They are made of organelles. Mitosis is where the cell grows and swells. The first stage of mitosis is in our phase.
So he goes through like the whole thing. I'm not going to do like the whole video, but he was like talking about like it splits like popsicles on a hot summer day. I even remember that line but he is a student not engaged in school, hated coming to my science class, and I was like, how can we get you like involved in something, right? On the exam, didn't disagree on all the other questions as much, but mitosis, boom, 100%. And it was great because I was like, he did something that was meaningful. And so, yeah, this is Josh. So he's there. So that was his video, and he was like very happy to do this. He went home, he researched it. I'm like, well, if you're gonna rap about something, you can't just rap about garbage. You really need to know what you're talking about. He's like, of course you do. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, look it up, and then so he looked it up. Then I got him to the textbook. It got him to Google. It got him to search things, and he ended up then making this video, and we put it up there. And then he entered the contest, and we had to get a waiver for the school to be able to post, and he wanted to be in the video because it was his video. So it was just really cool. So he ended up putting that. We didn't win, obviously, or not obviously, but we didn't win. So we'd be more famous if we did. So we even do things like whiteboard videos, different types of animations, people putting different things in the fume hood and showing reactions. So there's ways you can just engage people through YouTube. And I know a lot of people asked this at the beginning, if you have multiple YouTube accounts, sometimes it's very confusing to like, I'm logged in personally, then I have my board email, then I have my like teacher Gmail. You can change that. So what I've done here just today, I just used Safari and Chrome. I've used two different browsers, but something really neat that's on Chrome, there's different users. So I can click user, and you have to add this and you can add multiple people in. So I can go switch person, and I can switch to the other account. So I have another thing. I have a Brandon, I have a Mr. Zoris, and I have a TDSB. So once you're in that, it will open up. So I'll open up my TDSB one for you. It's top secret. So what it does, it opens up a whole new browser, and it's TDSB. So anything you open here, any bookmarks, anything that you use, any accounts you're using, will all be your TDSB stuff. So it just makes life easier, even when you're opening something your principal sent you. For TDSB, we have to authenticate through here. But your bookmarks transfer, if I'm on Twitter, it will be my like Mr. Zoris student Twitter that comes up because it's within that browser. So to enable that, you just need to go into Chrome, and it's under Settings. And I think there's an advanced settings at the bottom that you have to click on first, but there's a thing that says people. And then you just add people. So it's a really handy way if you're dealing with multiple users to just add different people to that, and then that way you don't have to go in between the different browsers. So it's, if you like Chrome and you only want to be Chrome, you can do that. For me, I just keep one Safari and I keep one Chrome, and I go about it that way. So those are some of the examples there. So I'm just going to go back. Was there any questions people had before I just go back to the presentation part? Or people want to share some of the cool things they've done with YouTube?
Sorry, was that just in Chrome that you could create those different people, or you can do that in Safari?
Just in Chrome. Yeah. I don't think they have it in Safari now, but in Chrome, it's the top right corner, and then you can add them in that way. Yeah.
What are the different people for? Sorry.
So it's, each one is a different Gmail account. So I have one that's like Brandon Zoris at Gmail is my personal one, and then I have Brandon.Zoris at TDSB. So a couple things. Just I wanted to share some of the things that are in the advanced settings once you upload the video. So this is once you've had it uploaded, and you can come back to this. You can change the rights of the video and allowing comments. So like I said before, sometimes comments, again, keyboard warriors and people being bullies, it's a good lesson to talk about, and I talk to my students about what good commenting should be, and to represent yourself well and all the digital citizenship stuff. But sometimes I just don't want it open to, if we're putting a public video up, I normally just turn comments off just to avoid anything. If it's internally, I leave it on because it's only us commenting, and it will show their student email, so it's okay. The license and ownership, so you can also change that if you want to see if the different licensing and however maybe your school has a different kind of way of handling that. You can change the category if it's an education video. You can do things in different languages. You can add a bunch of different stuff. So there's a lot of different things. Allowing embedding. So if you don't have that turned on, people can't take that video and put it in a presentation. So you can control a lot of things on your video that maybe you don't care to control, or maybe you do care to control. So there's lots of advanced settings where you can do that, and you can monetize your videos, and you can make money off your students if that's what you're into. So you're like, look at my cute students, click here. But so you can monetize stuff too, but that's, again, up to your board and policy. I don't think they'll allow you to do that. And there's also things like 3D videos. Some of the phones can film in 3D. You can have that. And there's different types of things you can add for there. So just one thing I wanted to show you about editing. You can actually edit right in the video. So once you have a video uploaded that's yours, and you've clicked edit, there's the info tab. I just clicked on the enhancement tab. But you can add like a quick fix. You can stabilize it. So I'm sure everyone's seen, and maybe some of the younger kids and also some of my high school students, they're running with the video and it's like bouncing along. When you click stabilize, it actually it zooms into a point and it kind of levels the video, so it doesn't look like it's bouncing as much. So you can stabilize the video, which is really neat. There's ways that if you filmed it this way instead of this way, where then you have those panels on the sides, you can change that around. You can make things slow motion, so some fun things that kids will play around with. They'll make things slow motion videos. They'll do a time-lapse video. So a lot of the things that you don't need a fancy app to make a time-lapse. So if you're like taking the kids and you take them camping or something, or wherever you're going, you want to make a time-lapse of the city or maybe how many cars go by, you can film the video regular and then go to time-lapse and just hit like 6 times and see what it does to the video. So there's a lot of like powerful editing stuff in YouTube where you don't need, because I know a lot of complaints about Chromebooks sometimes is that you can't download a lot of stuff, or they're not powerful machines, but there are lots of tools that are free within YouTube itself that you can change it. So you can trim the video, so edit it right here. You can change the audio, you can add annotations, you can make them interactive. So maybe something that you do with your students, you don't want just like a boring presentation, you want something to be popping up that they can click that goes to other links. You can click on annotations, and that will add a clickable feature to the video. So that's one way. Another way that a lot of teachers, and I didn't want to get into this today, but you all seem really cool, so I'll let you in the secret. If you make a Google form, you can embed a Google video that you've made or a video that you found online. And I know we don't want to always just ask multiple choice questions, but you could have questions pertaining to the video or opinions pertaining to that video. So when they go to the form, the video is there, they watch it, and then they could either make a response that's now sent to you. So it could be on like something about, it could be like digital citizenship. What do you think of this video? Or how could this have been handled better? Or bullying. And then you could have a text box under the video. So in Google Forms, you can embed all the other Google products. So what I like YouTube is that now that YouTube is under like the Google Apps umbrella, you can really embed them and really integrate them well into all the different products. So
So if you did that and you sent it privately to your students,
Mhm.
and they just send it right back to you and answer it?
Yeah, so I can even I can do it really fast to show everyone. You do it on the spot. Hopefully we'll so if I go to Drive, so I'm in Google Drive, you'll see all my random Drive files. But I can go to New, and I can go to Google Forms. And then once I'm in the form, it'll create the form. And then you can insert different things again. So I can insert, and I can insert a video. So then from here, type in sloth, because that's the theme for today. So there we go, baby sloth. And I click select. So what it does, it actually puts the video within the form. And then what I can do now, I can go into add item. So I want to add a paragraph box and be like, how does this make you feel? I don't know. And then done. And then once I'm ready to send the form, I send that form out. This is where the form will be. So I can share that to my students. And it creates a response. So when I go to view the form, this is what the students would see. So and you can change the size of the video. So the students, this one was there because I didn't delete it, but the students are in here. They can watch the video. They can make it full screen if they want, whatever. I think there's an ad here, but yeah. So it's oh no, it's actually the video. So you can make it like a full screen, or you can watch it outside in YouTube. It will pop up there, and then the students could answer the question and be like warm and fuzzy. So they click submit, and then it says you can change this again. You can whatever it is, and then under my responses, it shows that I have one response right now. So I can see what that response is, and then you can go to view responses. And then that will bring you to the sheet, and then some person said it's warm and fuzzy. So it's a really quick way. There's a whole, you can go to a whole session on forms, so I know I just quickly showed you. But you can embed them that way. So those are just ways to make videos a little more interactive as well.
Sorry, so
yeah.
I had videos last year. They had to use Movie Maker, or they used Movie Maker on the iPad, or
yeah, like iMovie.
Now you don't have to do that.
Technically, you don't have to. You could still, and you could still put it to YouTube, but the YouTube editor can do a lot of those things too. Yeah, so you don't have to do it that way. There's different ways to do that as well. And then just the last few things I just want to share, and then we can end a little bit early and we can have questions. Once you have that video up, the whole point of YouTube is to kind of like share those experiences, share what you're doing. So and everything, again, there's those three little circles and lines. You can email it. So if you have a group, so sometimes some schools have like a group email for your class, you can email it out to all the people right from YouTube. Or you want to email, you have a parent list, you can email it to the whole parents, be like, look how cute your kids are today, and then you want to send it out to them. You can email the video right from there, whether it's public or private or listed, you got to change those settings. And then you can also, if there's a long video, and this is kind of a thing under the sharing, you can start the video at a certain time. And I only found that I never knew about this until even last year I saw it. I'm like, what is this? So if there's a really long documentary and you don't want to show the whole thing, or you want to just show a part in something, you can click Start At and find what time you want to start at, and it will generate you a unique link that will start the video at that time. So if you have like an hour-long documentary, instead of like going forward and it's buffering the video and it's taking a long time, you can start it at a specific time, and then that way it's like at the point you need it to be at. So
is there an end time too?
There's no end time, yeah. So yeah. So then the last thing, so just one thing that I wanted to share is the Hangouts on Air, so which we're doing now. When you are in Google+, there's a thing called Hangouts, and it's very similar to Skype. It's just Google's kind of version of it. You could do a live broadcast, or you could do a private chat with someone. So I could chat with one person, or I could just put it straight to YouTube. So the video that I'm filming now of myself, with all those mistakes and things in it, will go live to YouTube right after. And you can change the settings. So I could have a conversation with just 2 people or 6 people, and we'd have little heads at the bottom, and we could do a video chat. But if I want to do an on-air chat, what I could do is if it's something that's between like my class and another class and we want to save it, I could change it, and I could change the settings. I can invite the other classroom, and I can just take off the public. So if I want to do a conversation with a school down the street, I can do it through Google+, which is part of kind of YouTube. And then I can just turn off public, and that can be a conversation that's now recorded, so I can show it at like a PLC, or we can reflect back on it as a class, or we could put it in our portfolio, or superintendent or someone comes, we could show that video and be like, look what we did, kind of thing. So it's really neat that you can record it, and it's a part of the process there. So that's Hangouts on Air. So I didn't want to like overwhelm people by going through the steps of that. You can Google it, and like you can search that as like a next step, because I don't know where everyone's level is in that. But once you have the Hangouts, you can record straight from there, and so it's just a different way of doing that. So I think thank you for listening to my presentation. So if you do go to that bit.ly, there's a site, and I'll just show you that really quick. I just made, anytime I do a Google presentation, I just make a Google site. And I just put all my presentations on any like Google thing I've been to. So I've been to like the 2 other Ontario summits. I've been to the 2 TDSB ones. And you can click on it. So there's like today's session stuff. All the links are in there. Or if you want to see what I did in 2014, intro using STEM for Google Apps for Education, I put all the resources and things there. So if you want to see other things, not that I'm the master of it, but it's up there if you want to see what else I've done. And then you can, I encourage you to add your own things, document what you're doing, so you have good examples when you do start sharing your stuff. And if you have any questions, I'll take questions, or if people want to get ready for lunch and line up, if you get ahead, I'll come and butt in with you and let's go. Send a runner. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to ask any or answer any questions for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.